care. If I get bad press for saying don't put a homophobic racist in office, then I get bad press for that. I really don't
stand
care.
behind that 1,000 times.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think that it is so frilly and spineless of me to stand on stage and be like, Happy Pride Month, you guys, and then not say this when someone's literally coming for their neck. All right, cheers. Cheers, ladies. God help us all. Cheers to the resistance.
The share of black men at HBCUs has dropped very considerably just in the last 2 to 3 decades, such that there are now about the same number of non-black students at HBCUs as there are black men.
The findings come from a report released by the American Institute for Boys and Men, an advocacy and policy group dedicated to finding and promoting solutions on male issues. The report revealing that black males account for only 26% of the students at historically black colleges and universities, down from 38% in 1976, a trend that the group says is declining at other colleges and universities.
Very clearly an issue around black men in higher education generally, and where we're really seeing that show up is in the place where you perhaps would least hope to see it, which is an HBCU.
If we were part of a healthy, functioning black community, this kind of headline would sponsor a full court press, so to speak, from coast to coast, all across the community, where people would assemble and say, we got to do something right now to make sure that our black boys are getting ready to go to college so that they can function and do well in today's society. And in the middle of this presidential election, you see, of course, black men assembling to support the first person of color, brown-skinned, black, however you choose to label Madam Kamala Harris, as president. And then, of course, on the other side, you have a new growing group of black people, and specifically black men, looking to support Donald Trump. Whichever way you choose to stand, I personally choose not to stand on either side. It doesn't address the bare bones problem that black men are not getting to college on a basis level that is suitable, acceptable. And there's a clip from Coach Carter that all but summarizes the reason why this is basically the case.
The state only requires that they have a 2.0 average to play. Now, you got in here, they need a 2.3.
If you have a 2.0, you have to score at least 1050 on the SAT to be eligible for an athletic scholarship. If you have a 2.3, you only need 950. Now, 2.3 is just a C+. It shouldn't be that hard to maintain a C+. These boys are student athletes. Student comes first.
This is crazy. A dress code and they have to sit in the front row in class? This is basketball, man.
And basketball is a privilege, ma'am.
Neck. All right, cheers. Cheers, ladies. God help us all. Cheers to the resistance.
When you hear Taylor Swift use the term resistance, she's alluding to the fact that they're part of some sort of conflict right now. Dare I say, it's a war for some of her followers and believers.
Your turn, honey.
In the one place in America where women still have a right to choose, you can vote any way you want. And no one will ever know.
Did you make the right choice?
Sure did, honey.
Remember, what happens in the booth stays in the booth.
And if they actually believe that, then that of course means anytime you're in a time of strife, you don't play by the normal set of rules. And matter of fact, you play by the set of rules that it takes to win.
You're a woman. Manipulate them. That's what we do.
And all of the other things kind of fall to the wayside. For older guys, we've been through some of the things, and maybe the game was a little bit different when we were younger. But now, if the game is going to get so cutthroat,
as a woman, you need to learn how to flip the script and make everything that man's fault. Even it don't matter what you do.
That it's just going to take all of the rules and throw them out of the window. Then younger guys have to be careful because it's going to get very aggressive.
The reason why my second child is here is because I wanted him to be here, and so I kind of went back to my ex to get the second baby. I know that's so that's why he's here, but there's no feelings there for my ex-husband.
Went to the ex really just to get the baby, basically. This
sleep with him and get the baby? You put him on child support for the kid? But if you like took him into court?
The first kid?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when we got divorced, all of that is spelled out in the in the divorce.
So do you plan on doing it for the second kid?
Yes.
Do he know you set him up to have a baby? Your ex-husband.
I don't know.
You set that man up for that baby. That's what happened. You made him think that we was gonna reconcile because you wanted that baby. You wanted a second baby. And he don't know it. So now he ain't got no ill will. He thinks, hey, it just happened. He don't think that you finessed the baby out of him. But that's exactly what happened. This don't even make no sense.
Many brothers had concerns about Kamala Harris's history as a prosecutor, as did I, being victims of the prison industrial complex. I'm a legal cannabis entrepreneur myself, so when I first heard the figures that she incarcerated thousands of black men for marijuana, I was very skeptical. Now, when you look into the actual numbers, it was 45 men in total that were sentenced for marijuana charges, and that's not specified by race.
You can see that this next week is going to be extremely messy, if not just ugly. And it's one of the reasons why I just chose not to participate in this particular election. But you can see on the one side, I'm not really the biggest fan of Donald Trump because of things that have happened. But on the other side, there's this shaping of a narrative to say that it doesn't really matter what people's lived experiences actually were. The narrative needs to be something so that we can have our candidate win, which is kind of why I'm turned off on both parties. But I saw this particular comment of a young lady responding to one of the Madam Vice President's speeches, and she responded, I hope she finds some rest after this campaign, even if for a moment. She has given this her all. She's running for president. There's no rest. It's work. You're going to work hard. That is the reality for many, many people, and especially for men that are not in the dating market. It's just wake up, work hard, go back home and relax, play some video games. That's life. Multiply that times 2,000 and you're president. That's the job. But again, in this environment, it seems as if this is more than just wanting her to get the job and do a good job. It's more like retribution. And if it is retribution, then that means you got to use the chess pieces that you have to do your bidding so that you can get what you need or what you want.
Maternal mortality rates amongst black women are exponentially higher in states with Republican-led abortion bans. As black men, our primary responsibility in this humanity is to protect black women.
Yes, indeed.
That's why we're here. And I think protecting black women begins and ends with listening to them about what makes them feel safe. And they overwhelmingly support the right to choose what happens with their body.
I'm sure that there are some who wonder why I, a guy who's talking about Passport Bros and SYSBM and assimilating into foreign cultures and learning languages, is so focused on this particular subject. And I would say that, well, two reasons. One, of course, is that I have a unique third person point of view because being removed from said situation, I can see things a bit more clearly. And of course, the second one is there is a mentality that we as black men specifically have where we're trying to save everything without trying to save ourselves or forsaking ourselves for it. And if you look at some of the messaging that we've seen that I assembled in this video, you have Taylor Swift saying she's in a resistance against whom? You have the political ad where a husband doesn't even know who his wife is going to vote for, or at least she's hiding it from him. If they're a family and they don't have common values as a family, how long is that family going to last? And you can see from young ladies saying it's okay to manipulate guys to even the video where Coach Carter is trying to get the boys up to snuff and everyone's saying, no, just let them play basketball. And there's a recurring theme. Black guys need to get stepped on so other people can kind of get what they want, because quite simply put, This is an election that should be about black men. This gentleman means well. He is technically doing the right thing. But the question is, who is looking out for him and his interest? And better yet, how are we supposed to look out for women that we are not building families with? Women that are not under our protection, under our purview. They're just young ladies that are getting on Instagram and doing whatever they want to. And at election time, it's kumbaya. And then after the week is over, then it goes back to 3 years and 10 months of not living together, not having families, dealing with issues in terms of raising children, child support, or even not being quote unquote good enough to date because you're not an exclusive man. It, in my opinion, turns good, well-meaning guys into cannon fodder. And good guys try to do the right thing and they just get kind of gobbled up. And the guy that's speaking, he wants to do the right thing. But how do you do the right thing if there's a growing number of young ladies that see you as the enemy? And that's why, in my third party point of view, I choose to just sit it out. Take care of myself. Because you can't help someone that sees you as an enemy. Until you find someone that you believe is on your team and you're going to build a family and you could tune out some of this very destructive, in my opinion, noise, then you're really just looking out for yourself and you're using other people to get to the goals that you want. And what I fear for a lot of well-meaning young guys, and I'm glad that I'm a guy who did not fall into the trap, is they're going to try and do the right thing and someone is going to see them as necessary collateral damage in order to get what they're trying to get out of life. I would hope that younger black guys in particular are being aware of this and watching the situation around them, because when someone sees you as their enemy, they don't see any rules under which to not use you for what they want. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you next video. Take care, guys.